What's up, folks? Welcome back to the Art of Safe Scumming. We got a new patch update, and I kind of want to go through it. Just a cursory look, because I have not scrolled through this yet. I just got notification today that it's coming, so I didn't pre-record or anything like that, so I have not looked at any of this. So we're just going to kind of skip through it, see if there's anything that really jumps out at me that you guys need to know. So first up, these look like the notes, so I'm going to want to know about stability and performance. Obviously, all the new content. I don't really care about... I suppose we should scroll through the race balances and hit campaign. And then we'll hit the looking forward as well. So, release spotlight. So, new legendary hero. That looks like it's coming out tonight. It's 1700 BST. So it looks like they're having a special event for that, so you're going to have to go tune into that if that's something that you want to learn more on. We also have the Will of Hashut, which is the new endgame crisis for the Chaos Dwarves. If you guys want to see that, I suppose we can create a new campaign and like kick the event off like super early in the campaign so we can showcase it. Let me know in the comments below if that's what you want to see. New Regiment of Renowns. So Cathay, I don't really care about Cathay a whole lot. I think of them as just a punching bag for all the factions that I really like to play. Peasant Archers, okay. I like this one for Khorne because I'm a big fan of doggos, and the demonic doggos are nice. I'm wondering are they doing this to showcase the change here, maybe. So do they get upgraded leadership? Dampen contact effect, which allows them to temporarily remove magic attacks. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, and upgraded Kossars unit, armored Kossars. Although these guys are both holding swords, and they don't have any ammo. So that means, oh yeah, they drop the pistols. Secondhand weapon, which makes them solid anti-infantry combatants. Okay. Rabble Rouse also helps keep nearby troops immune from fear and terror. Okay. Okay, since we needed more Nurglings for Nurgle, we got a Frolicker's Bubonic. And let's see. Cloud of Flies ability. New ability called Blisterback, which allows unit to deal damage back at their opponents every time they are hit. Okay, so it's got melee reflection damage. Spears for Slanesh. And Perfect Vigor, Soporific Musk. And, yeah. Okay, so to, fleshing it out, it looks to me like we've got a lot of low-tier Regiment of Renown here. So that instead of going like super buffed, they're basically going for the baseline troops and just reskinning and re-evaluating their abilities. So okay, so blue horrors have a bit more ammo, as well as having a powerful barrier replenishment ability that triggers anytime a spell cast on the battlefield. So that's interesting. That's here's the thing about blue horrors. We all know that they're kind of like the early game kind of trash unit, and this is interesting because this at least gives you an opportunity to turn them into sort of a skirmish unit where they can go in and do some stuff and then get out and then replenish based on the what's going on the battlefield. So interesting, I suppose. Since we need more Noblars for the Ogre Kingdoms, I'm not trying to be mean to CA, but I see what they're going for here. These are all kind of like trash tier units that they've made Regiment of Renown as. I'm assuming that these are going to be closer towards the front half of your Regiment of Renowns as far as recruitable rank and stuff. So poison. Regenerate entities. That's interesting. When standing near water, or in water, excuse me. That's different. So plant them in the water for combat effectiveness. That's cool. Bretonian update. Here's the thing. I'm going to kind of quickly go through the Bretonian update because I don't feel like this is a true rework. This is just kind of bringing them into balance with Warhammer 3 factions. So we've got some ward save and physical resistance that's going to help them compete with the demons. You guys can obviously read all of this, but I think this is an important one here. Interplay between the Bretonian knights and peasants. The knights now get a knight attribute, and the peasants now get a peasant attribute. And this is going to deal with targeting. So knights do not care what happens to peasants, and that's very thematic. But the knights also will buff your peasantry. So if there are knights near your peasants, then they get immune to psychology for 30 seconds. Okay, I'm okay with that. The other thing that they did here is the peasant's duty for all peasants, and it looks to me like they have increased the leadership buff for when they are near knights, but they also reduced their base level. So I'm hoping what they didn't do was buff us 8 leadership here and take 8 leadership as a base. I'm hoping that what they did was give us 8 leadership when near knights and maybe reduce this by 2 to 4, something like that. So the peasants aren't really, we're not breaking even with the peasantry. We're getting a little bit of a buff to the peasantry is what I hope was going on. As far as the unit changes are concerned, Grail Knights, Grail Guardians, we've got some size of, entities, stuff going on here. You can read all that. Hippogriff's got some buffs. And then the Grail Relic. I have never used this before. However, I think it might be viable now. Do you still want to trade a full unit of knights for a Grail Relic? I'm not sure. But here's the thing. It now combines with knights and paladins. It now combines with knights or paladins. So I suppose what this means is you can take this Grail Relic, stash it behind your main melee line or your archers, right? And then have paladins and knights in the region, and that's going to buff your units. So it stacks. So I could see that being viable, okay? I'm not so sure that I'm still going to... I don't think that I'm going to use the Grail Relic regardless, because I thought that it was... I understand what they're going for, but I'm not sure that it's going to be super useful, except for maybe in the early game when you're having trouble upkeeping knights. Anyway, beside the point. Stability and performance, we definitely want to look at this, but it looks to me like the only one that really had anything to do with anything that I cared about was this one. Oh, and it looks like they fixed the soft lock with the Coadil. That's cool. I didn't even notice this one. Oh. Who plays on Xbox? What? Gameplay, this all looks like stuff that doesn't matter for people who play on Legendary. And some updates for AI. I mean, they're going to continue to work on AI. We don't need to actually go through that. There's a whole bunch of tooltip changes. Yeah, you guys are going to have to read through that. Because otherwise this thing will be forever long. Mass-related changes. What? Okay. Looks like they've changed the way cavalry breaks up into certain mass brackets, like light cavalry, regular, heavy, shock, monstrous cav. Okay. Still work in progress, but yeah, I mean, that's that might actually be a good way to approach it. Okay, this is cool. We assume that this was a bug. They've now locked back the High Elves, Vampire Coast, Tomb Kings, etc., etc. where they should be instead of being available right from the get-go. This is all database. Spells. Okay, so they buff the Flames of Asgore. Yeah, so you're going to have... So as far as generally is concerned, you're going to have a whole bunch of changes here. I'm not... Yeah, let's go into the actual factions. Mass changes. I'm good with mass changes, particularly seeing them go up for some of these, like Razor Gore, Manticore, and Razor Gore Herd all going up. Bretonia, magical attacks, lots of stuff for Leoncoeur, Alberic. Again, you guys can read through all of these changes if you think that there's anything substantial that I am not covering here. You can see that, again, there's just a lot going on there. Chaos Dwarves. Okay, since this is the newest thing, we'll concentrate on this one a little bit. Astrogoth a little bit overtuned, you think? Adjusted along with his Bull Centaurs, Raiders, and Naphthabon-wielding Infernal Iron Sword units. Yeah, okay. They did need to be toned down a little bit. Let's be honest. I was working on a campaign with Astrogoth, and I've got a Bull Centaur Doomstack, which is just him, an Infernal Castellan, and 2 Dreadquake Mortars. And I'm just burning through the Empire right now. Nobody can touch me, right? Plus, you add on the Hellforge stuff, and yeah, okay. A little bit hardcore. Artillery, range nerf. They did increase the Dread Shrieker, getting some accuracy. This thing was terrible. I hated the Dread Shrieker. I could never hit anything with it. And Dreadquake getting a bit more range. I like that the Dreadquake's getting more range, just because I feel like that's like the quintessential unit for the artillery for the Chaos Dwarves. I want that thing to be more powerful because it is powerful. Don't get me wrong. It just seems to me like it's not in line with what the Dreadquake battery does. I hope that makes sense. Chaos Dwarf Legendary Lords will no longer lose their immortality upon Confederation. That's good. We needed that because that was pretty bad. You confederate, you go through the process of confederating them, and then all of a sudden they're dead. So that's good. Unit customization will now work when used in conjunction with the Magma Cannon or Death Streaker. I don't know what that means. Drasov now no longer counts towards hero cap in multiplayer. Who cares about multiplayer? Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's funny. I didn't know that you could just go in and start raiding and then disband units and still get the value. That's funny. Somebody definitely exploited that on a live stream somewhere for sure. Tower of Tsar seats that provide bonuses based on the number of seats owned in the same district now correctly counts the number of seats of the same district, removes all bonuses from previous owners. And the only one that I see that is, there is no landmark in Nagashazar. You would think that capturing Nagashazar, everybody else gets something. You didn't get one at Nagashazar. Okay, cool. That's good. The rest of that, whatever. Chaos Dwarf Regiment of Renowned units no longer have an armament upkeep. Okay, that's cool. Although I still would like them to have the Hellforge buffs. So that's kind of a nerf, to be honest. I mean, you can only have one of the Chaos Dwarf unit. Whatever. That all looks to be more balanced. Database changes are not something I'm going to sit here and go through. Look how chunky this thing is. Dark Elves. Now have the ability to consume their slaves in order to rush construction. Interesting. So they basically took the Chaos Dwarf situation and rolled it into the Dark Elf, which, okay, I can get with that. It's very, how do I put it? If you read any of the literature, then yeah, I mean, that kind of, they do sacrifice a lot of slaves as the Dark Elves for a lot of things. So I can see that definitely being, I'd have to see how it was implemented. Okay, looks like there's been some stuff done to the Dark Elves. I haven't played a huge amount of Dark Elves. I haven't played them at all since they've come to Warhammer 3, just because I'm like, nah, this is kind of, I've seen other people play them. I'm like, nah, this was way better in Warhammer 2. Fix it, put it back where it was. They need a complete rework. Let's be real here. Mass changes for Griffins, Lions. Now provide appropriate bonuses when captured by Eltharion. Okay, so it looks like they just simply weren't in the database, so they've been added to the database. Okay. Does Scarbrand really need anything? Kislev. Armored Car Soldiers now receive 10 additional entities to improve their frontline capabilities. Okay, I'm cool with that. They do seem like they don't hold up in the later stage of the campaign. So in buffing them in any way is definitely helpful. They do seem kind of milquetoast towards the mid to late campaign. And it really sucks when you are forced into running Sargard. It's a quiet update for Nurgle. Nurgle needs a complete rework. Like, I like their plague system, how it's been implemented. It's just the plagues themselves are not impactful. They should do more. Ogre Kingdoms, I have never played the Ogre Kingdoms, and I simply just do not care. Skaven. Okay. Fixed an issue wherein taking over Skaven army that is besieging you as Clan Eshin would cause you to indefinitely siege yourself. Never saw that one. That one's weird, but work block Jezzael is now currently correctly listed as benefiting from Blastmaster. Okay, so not a whole lot for them. Nakari received some love this update, with special attention being placed on their attack metadata. Bit erratic. Okay. That's okay. Nakari does seem like sometimes he's just like, is he hitting? Is he not hitting? Like, what's going on here? So it looks like they've spent some time balancing that, and I'm okay with that. Unique trait. Okay, that's cool. And starts as an immortal. Okay, that's cool. It's almost assured that if you're playing your early campaign the way that I think it ought to be played, that Sotharel the Everwatcher is acquirable as a legendary lord. I think that's the way it should be. Even though he's not a playable faction currently, I think he should have immortality. He's not just another greater Lord of Change. Exalted Lord of Change, excuse me. Vampire Coast. I have never played Vampire Coast. Vampire Counts. Love me some Vampire Counts. Underlying chance of units returning as part of the Dead Rise Again feature has been tweaked, resulting in approximately a third fewer units. A lot of people have made a lot about this. I think that it was fine. I thought it was very thematic because if you read what Vlad was able to do in the end times, I liked this. I liked that they were hard to take down because the vampires were supposed to be pretty difficult to fight, even though they have shit units. However, I do agree that people who are not really concerned about the theme or the adherence to lore might find this unfun, so I'm come down on the side of tweaking it down a little bit. Warriors of Chaos updated. Okay, it looks like they just, yeah, whatever. What elves? What elves got some mass updates, but word answers in. They now benefit access to 2 different dances instead of a single dance. Okay, that's cool. I'll be honest. My Doom stacks are Tree Men and Way Watchers. So War Dancers, mid-game unit. Early to mid-game unit, yeah, could help. Okay. You're also going to end up with a whole bunch of them from the Confederated armies. You might as well use them. So, okay, cool. Ariel will now spawn. Yay. Okay, general campaign stuff. Immortal Empires. Okay, general campaign stuff. Immortal Empires. Okay. So that's in the Mountains of Morn. As the Chaos Dwarves, you could build this up to tier 5. So that was actually identified by somebody in my stream on how to build Chaos Dwarf settlements. They said that I didn't have a choice to build this up to tier 5 in that settlement. And yes, you absolutely do. You can build a tower there, and you can build it up to tier 5 at Yeti Peak. You could do that. I never do because I don't think that it makes sense in a 2-settlement province like that. But that's beside the point. It is now set up so that everybody else can now turn it into a major settlement. Cool. Don't care about those, although I did really like the prologue campaign. We're offering peace alongside offering to break any form of alliance or trade agreement would result in only a peace deal with no other agreements. Okay, yeah, that needed fixed. Prevent Azazel and Village from appearing in the Recruit Large tab, being confederate by... Okay, I never saw that, but cool. Battles, graphics. Oh yeah, we covered this before with all the patches that we've got coming up. You can refer to the roadmap for that. And this is a 30-minute video, so we're going to break it off. Thanks for joining us here at the Art of Safe Scumming, and hopefully we'll see you in another video coming soon.